What's up, everybody? Welcome to a special bonus episode of the On the Runs podcast. Eric and I just spent the afternoon cheering on our friends at the Boston Marathon, so we are not releasing a new episode, but we hope you enjoy this On the Runs Classic featuring Sarah and Denise and their Boston Marathon recap from last year, 2022. So please enjoy, and we will get back to you soon.
1, 2, 3, 4.
I think that we should just get right into this episode because we got a lot to talk about with our good friends Denise and Sarah.
We got a fantastic episode for you. We had Denise and Sarah on both at the same time. They shared with us their experience of the Boston Marathon, what it was like, the crowd, the atmosphere, everything that led up and the finish. Talked about how they got in, which some of you know how Sarah got in, but Denise got in a unique way.
So you're going to want to stay tuned and give it a listen.
All right. So we'll get right to that. And then if you want to hear about Erica's volunteering experience and what happened with the girl.
You know, they got to listen. We got to make them listen to the end.
You told me.
I know.
I was so excited to hear about it. All right, we'll hear about it after. Everyone, enjoy Denise and Sarah. It's a great interview. You're going to love it. All right, joining us again on the Runs are our two favorite friends from episode 6 and 8, Denise and Sarah. Denise, Sarah, how are you?
Hey, On the Runs. Thanks for having me back.
I'm good, thank you.
Welcome back, ladies. I'm super happy to see you guys after seeing you at the big race.
So you had a big day on Monday. You both got to run in the Boston Marathon. You both got to do it in two different unique ways. Denise, you got lucky on applying on an Instagram post, and Sarah, you fundraised your way to run in the Boston Marathon. Let's get into that real quick. Denise, how did you get your bib to run in the Boston Marathon? Because when we talked to you last, you were hoping to qualify, and then all of a sudden, you're running in the Boston Marathon.
Yeah, it was pretty crazy. So last time I talked, I was trying to qualify. I'd been training for a while. A race had just been canceled. Got another one on the book. And it was 3:00 in the morning, one morning, and I couldn't sleep. And I was scrolling through Instagram and came across a post from Poland Springs saying, hey, if you want to run in the Boston Marathon, apply to be on our team. So I looked up the rules, wanted to make sure like it wasn't anything crazy. And all it was you had to post a picture of yourself and talk about your running story and why you thought you deserved it. And I did that. And sure enough, they picked me as one of their 10 people to join their team.
I am so jealous. I had tried that and no dice for me, but I could not think of a better person that they gave it to. So congratulations. That was awesome.
Not only that, you're from Maine.
It's perfect.
Yeah, I think that helped.
Was everyone on your team from Maine?
No, they were all from New York or like Rhode Island area. I was the only one from Maine.
They
Really?
kept it kind of local, though. I mean, that's not bad.
How did you find out?
Yeah, it was super great. That I won. Just they posted on like a private message on Instagram.
That's awesome.
Mhm,
What was your reaction when you knew?
I ran down. I was at work and I ran downstairs and told one of my friends that was working in this building at the same time and got way too excited about it.
As you should. That's an amazing, amazing thing.
All right, Sarah, we talked to you earlier about fundraising. We had your big comedy night.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
And after your comedy night, you made your goal. Tell us about that and what was going through your mind when you were picking up all that money off for raffles and the auctions, and when that check came for $7,000+. Tell us what was going on.
I cannot tell you how ecstatic that whole night made me. It was, I don't even know. I was hopeful leading up to it that the event would get me across the line as far as my fundraising minimum was concerned. And the fact that it well surpassed that is just something I'm very, very thankful, very, very grateful to everybody that sponsored, like, on the runs. And there were I think we had a total of 18 sponsors. I was super thankful for everyone for doing that and everybody who attended. But as it was happening, I was just mind blown by the way everything just sort of came together and worked out. I was really, really, really thankful.
They had like Boston Bruins and Celtics and Patriots jerseys going off for auction with autographs from like Phil Esposito was one of them. They had so much going on there, the raffles. I mean, I just knew partway through it was going to work out. This is going to be a big payday.
Oh, yeah.
Fun fact, all those jerseys were framed by yours truly. And let me tell you, that is something that I 0 out of 10 recommend if you're looking for something to do in your time off.
Yeah, I don't think that would be. Yeah, that's not my kind of craftiness.
Well, if I ever have a jersey I want to frame, I know who I'm going to.
It was brutal.
She's got the experience now. That's good.
All right. Well, the three of you are now experienced Boston Marathoners, and I want to hear all about it. So I'm going to take a little bit of a back seat. Maybe let Erica run the show here. I will butt in every once in a while, but I think we should get into this. And then, Erica, you can even talk about your time volunteering.
Oh, yeah. I'm excited about that. I can't even tell you how much fun I had just volunteering. So I can imagine you guys had tenfold more fun than I did. So why don't you guys tell me about like leading up to the race? Like, how was the expo? Was like check-in fun? Like, just give us the whole idea with that.
So I went down to the expo on Friday because it was the first day and I just did not want to wait any longer than I had to.
Understandable.
And just had a blast. Was ready to soak it all in. Did every photo op that there was. Got the jacket. Got the bib. Went out to the fan fest outside. Had a beer. Made a sign. Got a caricature. Did all the things.
That's awesome. I went down on Saturday for the expo. Mike and I went down for the Bruins game first, and it was a 12:30 game. So after the game, we were able to walk over to, no, I suppose we took the T. Either way, we were able to get ourselves over to the expo and bib pickup and all of that. And it was just kind of a wild experience in that it was just the organization behind all of it, you know, them shuffling you off in one direction to pick up your bib. If you've already done that, you go this other direction, and there were just people everywhere. It was the second day, I think, of the expo. Like you said, you went Friday. So it was the second day of the expo, and it was just unreal seeing all these people. Everybody's buzzing. Everybody's super excited about, you know, like I said, getting their bibs, getting their gear and everything else that they wanted to get, like swag and whatnot. And it was just really cool. One of the things that was kind of funny was we saw all the Adidas stuff that was right up front. And then from Adidas, there are like a couple of other rows of booths that were in the same area. But then we didn't even realize until we were actually about to leave how much more stuff was beyond the wall. So now suddenly we walk down this hallway, we're heading towards the exit. I'm pretty sure they were announcing over the intercom that it was time to be getting ready to go. And suddenly we see, wow, there's like 5 more rows of just booths upon booths of like sponsors and all these people that are there with all of their stuff. And you're like, oh my gosh, there's so much more to do. So it was a little bit overwhelming, but it was really, really cool.
Did both of you stay in the city the whole weekend?
No, I stayed in Atkinson, New Hampshire with my parents.
We went down for the day. Like I said, we went to the Bruins game and then we made our way over to the expo. But after that, we went back home. And then Sunday, Mike and I came back down into Boston and checked into our Airbnb for the night so that we wouldn't have to drive down from Pembroke.
Nice.
On race morning.
I have to say, I was following you guys on Instagram the whole weekend before, and I was living vicariously through you. I could feel the energy from the people, and I was just getting so excited for you both. So I'm glad you guys kept posting and giving me something to do over the weekend. So that was leading up to the race. I'm sure your nerves are going crazy. You're super excited. tell me about the morning of. How was your bus ride? Like, what time did you have to get there? Give me all the deets.
So I got pretty lucky. My cousin lives in Hopedale, Mass, which is like 10 minutes from the start-ish,
Oh,
or
nice.
wherever one of the buses was from the start. So me, my mom, and my aunt drove down from Haverhill area that morning, picked up my cousin and her husband, and then they drove me like the 10 minutes to one of the start buses, got on a bus for like 10 minutes and ended up in the athletes village.
That's awesome.
It was pretty smooth sailing, yeah, and then just lived it up with all of the people until the start.
What time did you have to be there?
Oh, we left Haverhill at like 8 a.m. So my start didn't start till 11:15. So I think I got to the athletes village at maybe like 10 in the morning. So pretty late.
That's the way it should be. Unlike that Disney marathon deal, 2 a.m. Yeah, no, that's the way it should be. I'm glad you got a good night rest, it sounds like.
Yeah, for sure.
So Mike was actually volunteering at the finish line, and he had to be there by 8 in the morning. So even though I also didn't have a start time of until sometime after 11:15, we went in together. He took the tee. He continued on the tee off to where he needed to be for his volunteer spot. And I got off of the tee and wandered around. But at that point, I was super early for where I needed to be and when. So I sort of wandered around a little bit, saw the sights a little bit, eventually made my way over to like the gear check. And all of a sudden I said, okay, well, I know that MGH is meeting up at Cheers. That's great. Where's that? So I'm kind of standing there, and I Google Cheers, and I'm not sure where I'm supposed to be going. So I called somebody on my team. I called my friend Jen and asked her, I was like, Jen, where am I going? I don't know where I have to go. And she's like, where are you? And I told her where the gear check was. And she said, okay, you're going to walk to this street, then you're going to take a left, and you're going to keep the park on your right, and you're going to take a right. And so I made my way to Cheers and met up with the rest of the team. We all wandered over. Eventually, when it got to be same thing, like around 10 something, we wandered over to the buses, and that was also kind of an unreal thing because it looked outrageously unorganized when there's just these massive numbers of people all waiting to board these buses, but somehow it all just worked and everything came together, and next thing you know, everybody's on buses. So that was kind of cool and fascinating to watch. Yeah, we got on our bus and took the ride over to Hopkinton. One of the buses that one of my other friends, actually Matt, from who I was hosting the comedy night with, his bus got lost. So,
oh, no.
Yeah, I don't know how one bus gets lost in a line of buses all going to the same place, but his bus got lost. It wasn't so terrible, I guess, though. By the time they got there, his bus just was pretty much brought straight to the start, and they got off the bus and got on their way.
That is
was thankful I wasn't on that bus.
Right.
That would have given me anxiety.
It sounds like you guys had a bit of a better bus experience, because I remember when I was going down for my Boston, I had to get up at like 4:00 in the morning to catch the Boston Express from Nashua to go down to South Station. So I had to catch like a 5 a.m. bus, and then I had to take the T to the park, and then take like a 6:30 a.m. bus to the start line and just wait. But luckily with Charities, they have we had like a nice little place, like a dry place to stay, because we had that really crappy weather. So yeah, it's just a long day, but that sounds good for you guys. Like, well, yeah, Sarah, you were down there for a long time, but
I got a question. All right, so when I do an Ironman, I'm down there really early, and they give us a bag, and I throw all my dry clothes in the bag. I throw it in a big dump truck, and that dump truck brings it back. What did you do with all the clothing you wore on the bus and to the start that, you know, I noticed you were wearing hoodies and sweatpants and stuff, and you're obviously not running in that. What happened with that clothing? Was it donated, or do you get it back at the end? What happens?
No, it all gets donated. There were so many. They kept saying, clear bags are for clothes you want to donate. Black bags are for trash. That was like the motto that you heard the entire time you were at the Athletes Village. And there were just so many clear bags of discarded clothing.
And what was the black bag for? Because it cut out. What was the black bag?
Trash. Yeah.
Trash.
Mhm.
Okay.
Trash.
Yep.
All right. I was wondering, like, do you wear something nice or do you wear something that you don't care about, not getting back? You know, that was curious because it sounds like you could get there hours early and you're not going to be wearing just your T-shirt and running shorts that whole time. Or you might, but with warmer clothes over it.
I like how big races do that. They'll donate it to homeless shelters in the city. Yeah, Boston does it. New York does it. And I'm hoping Chicago does it. But literally all the clothes that I have, like I have a big bin of clothes upstairs with like extra PJ pants and sweatshirts that don't really fit anymore. So instead of just, I could donate them to Goodwill, but it's nice to just be like, oh, I can wear these to a race now.
I saw one guy heading towards the buses that had a bathrobe on. It's like, that's the way to do it, I think.
It's pretty smart.
Yeah. But there were like Denise was saying too, you could discard clothes at Athletes Village, but then there was also almost like a depot area, if you want to call it, as you got closer to the start line, because it's what I think like a quarter to a half a mile walk. I'm not even really sure, from Athletes Village to the start. And once you were getting closer to the start, there was a whole nother area of porta potties and another area where you could dump more clothes if you still had worn extra to the start line. And there was one like box truck that was parked down in a field, and it was packed. It was just packed with so many clothing items. It was just unreal to see. But yeah, so many clothes and sneakers and just all sorts of things. I discarded a pair of sneakers and a sweatshirt.
That's the smart way to do it. So you're comfortable, and especially if it's like a damp day, they tell you to bring like extra shoes just to change into. So good job. So now you guys you're at the start line, you're waiting. Tell us about what the starting corrals were like. You were saying you had a later start time. So how was all that?
It was pretty great, actually. I was kind of nervous or not nervous. I'm a little disappointed that we didn't have like a team meetup for the 10 people that were on our team. So I walked into the start corral and just kept finding people with the same shirt on.
Oh, that's great.
So ended up finding most of the people on our team, just like introducing ourselves again, meeting up, and just kind of getting all excited again was my favorite part of the start corral.
Yeah. Walking to the start corral, I didn't find that I was stopped for very long once I got to the start corral. I didn't totally know. So I was within wave 4, I was in corral 2. And when I got to the starting area, I never felt like I had to stop and wait to be allowed to go. It was like we just walked up and there was the line and then you started going. But there did seem to be people to the left of a barricade that maybe I don't know if they were in a further back corral within wave 4, but there did seem to be a lot of people that were waiting. Oh, was that you? Probably. I don't know.
Yeah, I was in corral 6 and we were the ones on the left over there just standing there.
Well, one of the things I was fascinated by about walking up to the starting area was just the fact that, like, you think about the people that are going to be cheering you on along the course. Like, you know that there's going to be thousands of people out watching everybody race. But one of the things that I thought was the coolest was the fact that you're walking from Athletes Village up to that start line, and there are people in their yards before you even get to the start line, and they are out in their yards and they were just cheering you on. And to me, I'm looking at it like, oh, we are a parade right now. Like, this isn't even a race. And there have been people who've probably been out there for 2-3 hours watching people just walk. It was just such a cool, that was really like a neat thing that I thought was like, I don't know, it just made me like,
I felt like I was part of watching a parade, just being at that water stop. So I can feel you on that one.
Yeah, let's get into the start because very early they run into you and we got a couple clips to play.
I was so happy I caught you guys. So I'll get into my volunteering portion of this a little bit later, but my water table had just finished. Like, we ran out of water. It's wave 4. And a question that you came across. We were the first set of Gatorade tables. There was a whole nother set of Gatorade tables, like maybe a quarter of a mile down the road. So we ran out as a table, but there was a ton of Gatorade to go around.
Because I noticed you were able to take a lot of pictures and video, and your table was empty. And I'm like, I hope you didn't run out of water.
Nope, it was just so hard to replenish it, but there was a lot for everybody. But I was like, all right, sweet, we're out of Gatorade. I can finally like take a second and capture this like pure pandemonium like coming down the street, and I'm just videotaping, and then Denise, out of nowhere, you find me, and I was like, whoo! I just happened to be video recording, and I found you, and I was so excited to see you.
I think Denise found you.
She did, and I had like whipped around, and I was like, it's Denise!
All right, so let's go to the video that you captured of Denise.
Looking great right now! Yeah! Denise! Yeah! You can hear me cackling in the background because I'm like, oh my God, it's Denise. Okay. So I was very, very excited to see you.
Oh my gosh, it was so great. And only because you said exactly where you were going to be. The flamingo headband was priceless, and you could not miss you. And you were right at the first table, which was great too. So I didn't even have to like try to cut off that many people to come find you. And I was like, there's Erica, I gotta run.
I was so
awesome.
happy. I was told that flamingo headband was key because I found so many friends on that course because they knew I was there with the goddamn headband. So I'm going to save that and hopefully be wearing it next time. Sarah! I'm so happy! You are a superstar! Go get it! Yeah! All right, Sarah.
What a hug. What a hug. Sarah.
That was a special moment for me as well as you, I hope. So
you were the first person that I was expecting to see. So I get to the 2-mile mark, and I knew that you had said that you were at 2.2. So I get to the 2-mile mark, and I'm keeping my eyes out, and I knew you were on the right-hand side, like last minute switch. Mm-hmm. So I'm keeping my eyes out on the right-hand side. And all of a sudden I see these little pink flamingos popping up from your head. I felt like I was forever away. I could not contain myself. I just said, Eric! It's way too loud. I'm so sorry. But I started screaming your name. And I did not think that there was any way that you would be able to hear me with all those people around and all that cheering. But it was like I could see your excitement, and you're dancing around and you're moving, and all of a sudden, like a puppy, your head just popped up, and I was like, yes, she sees me. And so I was so excited, and I got up to you, and I just gave you this big hug, and I was like, I'm already crying.
Not gonna lie, I got teary after that, and so did Katie, because we're just like, oh, she's doing it. Because I know how long of like this was. It was a long time coming for you, and I just was so excited for you.
I was just so happy that you could even hear me from that far away, because I said,
right?
There's people around me that are going to think that I am a crazy person, but you actually reacted, and I was like, yes.
Well, it helps that you were waving your arms too, because I was like, there she is. It definitely helped. It was
way to go, having the video ready to go.
Well, yeah, I mean, it was just pure luck that my table was empty and I had time to actually get these videos. It was so perfect. So very glad.
She goes there and I go, you are on content control, content. Cause I wasn't
did
there.
What I could. Oh, by the way, did you get any stuff from Katie? That she got the elites going by, but
I have not yet, but Katie's like, Eric, we have a job to do and it's very important and there'll be no time for us to be taking pictures or video. And I'm like,
hey, we took it seriously.
I go, Katie, we need content.
Hey,
let Eric, you go hand water and have Erica take pictures.
No, I was the one holding out the water, or at least in the beginning, the Gatorade. But oh my God.
I guess I got lucky that you ran out of water.
Yep, for a change, yeah. But it was I was so pumped for both of you. I was like on cloud nine for you.
And great job rolling with that. I did not mean to play the Sarah video. When I did, I was getting it ready and then it just played.
So we kind of ruined it. I saw you guys. So tell us, how did the rest of the race go? Like, did you guys see any awesome signs? Like, what was your favorite part of the course? I'm just throwing it out there. Like, how was the atmosphere? Like, give us all your thoughts. Just let it flow.
The atmosphere was overwhelming. It was insane. It was electric. It just took over you. I think that's the best way I can like try to describe it. It was your own voice because it was so loud. Like there was the whole way, which I was surprised about. Like if there was like a slight lull in the crowd, like it still was somehow loud. It's just wild. Signs. I think my favorite one was the giant head of Will Smith. And as people were running by, they were like smacking it. And that one probably made me laugh the hardest.
I saw a video.
There was another one. Yeah. A young girl was holding a sign that said, "You run better than the government." That was like, they were just, and then, there's just a lot of generic ones, but those are probably the two that stuck out the best in my head.
Nice.
One of my goals of the race, aside from seeing all of my friends that were coming in to see me, and I tried really hard to keep track of where everybody said that they were going to be, but one thing I really tried to keep track of where they would be was Spencer the dog.
Did you find it?
So I had, So Spencer, I had heard, was between miles 2 and 3 on the right-hand side. So he actually wasn't all that far beyond where I met you.
Okay.
Water stop. So kind of funny story is that I'm running along and I'm trying to keep it nice and casual and slow so I don't burn myself out too quick. And I'm going along and I keeping my eyes out for Spencer, and I suddenly see this line or this crowd of people that's in like a pseudo line on the right-hand side. And I'm in the area between miles 2 and 3. But what went through my head was, oh, that must be a porta potty line. That must be all the people who drank their coffee this morning and like need to take an emergency stop because of,
Code Browns.
On the runs, Code Brown.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I initially thought. And as I'm going past this line, I'm thinking to myself, not me today. Like, dang, I get to the front of the line and I see it's not a porta potty line. It is a line to have your photograph taken with Spencer the dog. So I promptly stopped myself, turned right back around and said, this is worth it. And so I got into like a 5-minute line to have my picture taken and get to pet Spencer the dog. And it was worth every second that it delayed me crossing the finish.
I'm glad you did that because I feel like this race is more about the experience, not your time. Like your time doesn't even matter. It's about enjoying. Like, I'm glad, Denise, you weren't trying to get a BQ because you got to experience it. And the same thing for you, Sarah, where, it was all about the atmosphere and the experience. And you took that in. And I think both of you really took that in because, Denise, the week before we talked, and you're like, I just want to really enjoy this. I don't want to like take it to be too stressed about it. And I think that's what you did. And, good on you for turning around, getting in that line and seeing Spencer. And I need that picture.
Katie and I had tried to figure out where they were because we had heard he was around like somewhere mile 2-ish, but we had gone up to mile 2, like the mile marker, and we're like, we don't see him. Well, it was a little early too, so we didn't know when he would be out, but we had tried to look, but if he was after, we didn't go that direction, but I'm very jealous. He's so cute.
He was just a little bit after on the right, not too far, maybe like half a mile.
That's awesome. Yeah, Spencer is the official dog, I believe, of the Boston Marathon.
Yes, newly.
I love it.
All right, during the race, did you see anyone special? Did you see any of your favorite runners or anyone famous? Did you run into anyone who like starstruck?
So on Team Poland Spring, our team captain was Zach Clark from The Bachelorette. He was the old winner. So I was like a little fangirling on that one. But I actually didn't see him at the start, but he ran by me like right before the water stop at mile 2, zigzagging in and out of people. And I was going to chase him down and like say, hey, Team Poland Spring, like go. But I didn't want to like burn out and try to chase him down at that point because it was only mile 2 and I was keeping a nice slow pace at the beginning. So, but he was the only person like famous wise that I saw out on the course.
How about you, Erica? Because you were there for the pros.
Ooh, I was very starstruck for a couple of this. So I got to see all the elites go by. And so, of course, you had like Molly Seidel who was in there. I didn't see Des. Des
was there.
But I didn't see her in the pack. But CJ Albertson, I think I was telling you about him the other day. He is a Beck's Beast. And I yelled out his name. So I was really excited about that. I don't think he noticed. But I also don't know if you've heard of Alexi Pappas. She's an Olympian.
Yes.
And she was a support runner for, I wish I wrote down her name. But she was a visually impaired athlete. I didn't know she was running. And I was like, oh my God, Alexi. And she turned, she's beautiful, covered in glitter, like just having a blast. And she blew me a kiss. And I was so excited to see that. I was like, oh, okay. So that was a little fangirl moment for that. And then another support runner for Adrienne Hazlitt, I believe her name was, Shalene Flanagan. And I got to see her and I was like having a moment too, because Shalene is freaking phenomenal.
And here's a request. Adrienne, if you ever hear this, we would love to talk to you. And I'm going to try to get her on in about a month.
Yes.
That would be awesome.
Yes, that was awesome. But
after all the media and the PR slow down, I'm going to go try to get you, Adrienne.
That would be cool. So I did get to see like the elites go by, which was really, really cool. And of course, they really didn't go for the water at that point because they're still in good spirits and 5-minute miles, you know. So we got to get some videos of them going by. Another person who I didn't see, who I wish I did, was our girl from Peloton, Jess Sims. She was running.
I know. I didn't even know she was running until after.
Nah, I didn't either. But I would have been cheering for her. I believe she was in wave 4 with you guys.
It was her first marathon. And she never thought she would run a marathon before. Mm-hmm. And her story is pretty great, how someone else...
We'll have to get into that another time because that's just, I need to do some research before giving that story.
I read the article, but it sounded pretty cool. Someone gave her the bib.
Go ahead.
I think I don't remember everything, but I think it had to do with someone from the bombing who survived the bombing offered Jess Sims her bib, and Jess was like, "I have to run this race now." Mm-hmm. And Bex was like a huge supporter and helped her, get there, and so did all the other Peloton people and friends. Mm-hmm. But yeah, Jess ran.
Cool. That is too cool. But yeah, so it was a good morning for celebrity sightings.
Oh yeah. I wish I was there to see it. Mm-hmm. All right. How did the race go? Tell me about your way to the finish. I got one thing to tell you, Denise. You made a post that said the big left-hand turn onto Boylston, but in your video, you're making a sharp right.
Yeah. So I was having, honestly, the time of my life from mile 1 to mile 26. It was fantastic. I ended up, it was my only negative split marathon. So I just started off super slow and was running my the last split on the tracking was an 8:16. Like I was flying at the end. It was unreal. Like I think the Newton Hills just like gave me that extra burst of energy once I got through those and just cruised it in for the last 6. But so right, like you run by the Sicko sign and like all of these iconic parts of the course that you're getting so pumped for. Take that right on Hereford, and all of a sudden I just scan the crowd on the opposite side and see the sign that I made for my mom to hold. And I instantly took a look right over my shoulder. Like my friend was like, yeah, you even checked your blind spot. Because so many people were just cutting in and out. People were running sideways by that point. So the last thing I wanted to do was take someone out right at the very end. So I check my blind spot. I see my family. I beeline the opposite way of the course for them. Say my high fives and everything. And then take that iconic left onto Boylston for the finish. But it was great. It was an experience I will never forget and super grateful to have had it.
That's awesome. You guys are making me verklempt here. I'm just...
How about you, Sarah? How is everything leading up to the finish?
It was unreal. So another one of my friends had said to me leading up to it, my friend Beth made a comment saying, I'm so excited that you finally get to experience this party. It's going to be so great. You're going to love it. And I kind of thought to myself, like, oh, you know, like I know there's going to be tons of cheering and it's going to be exciting and all of that. But until I got there, I just had no way to wrap my head around what she was really saying. And then that whole way, kind of like Denise said, from mile 1 until you cross the finish line, even like I said, before mile 1, when you're even just walking there, it is like a party that you are just traveling through. I can't tell you how many high fives, how many people, because I had my name written on tape that was on my singlet, and how many people were just screaming my name. I have one person who I haven't seen in I don't even know how many years, and all of a sudden I hear him screaming, Sarah Halleck! I was like, what? And I turn and I see him. I had no idea he was going to be there. He didn't know I was going to be there. So of all of these like 20 plus thousand runners and however many spectators, to see him and to see all of my friends and family that had come in and were somewhere along the course, it was just every time I left another group. I mean, like I said to Eric, I'm already crying. So I said that to Erica at mile 2, and that didn't change. Every time I saw people I knew, I would run away and I'd be like, okay, it's okay. I can do this. And it was just unbelievable. And it was just something that I don't even know how to describe. And I now understand why people can't really explain it to you. You know, it's just a totally unreal experience. And I loved every second of it. I had an absolute blast.
All right. So you guys are running down Boylston. The finish line is in view. What's going through your head?
I couldn't believe it. Like, I just was like, this has really happened. Like, I am here. And somehow that's like, so I finished in 4 hours and 10 minutes and some seconds. And it just did not seem like that long. Like, it just seemed like I had just started 10 minutes ago. Like, it was wild. It's like, okay, well, now it's going to be over. And then it still really wasn't over, because then there's a whole process of, right, and you have to walk and you get water or your medal. I don't even know what order it was, but it was just like a whole nother conveyor belt of things after the finish. It's always something coming next.
All right, Sarah, how about you? Running down Boylston, see the finish line. What's going on?
So leading up to it, I had some moments where I don't, whether I got into my head or whether it was actual physical, you know, feeling tired and slowing down a bit. I don't know, but I had taken some walking breaks. And all of a sudden I get to the 1 mile to go sign, and I took a picture with the 1 mile to go sign. And then I get to that right-hand turn on Hereford, and I get to that left-hand turn onto Boylston. And there's a video that someone got. I am just so fascinated by all of the people. You can see me running down Boylston. I'm looking to the right, and I'm looking to the left, and I'm looking to the right, and I'm looking to the left. And it is just, I couldn't. I went into slow motion in my head, and it kept making my way, but like just taking the whole thing in. I didn't have the negative split experience, which is totally fine. But I just I made that turn, and I just kept looking around saying, this is unbelievable. I did see the last few groups of people that I knew before crossing the finish. And then I saw Mike beyond the finish line as I was crossing over. And I just, I'm done. I made it. And I'm pretty sure I started to cry again. And it was really cool to have him right there because, like I said, he was volunteering at the finish line. So he still had his credentials to be able to be right there when I crossed over. So that was really cool. I was glad that he was in that spot. And then, you know, his kids and family and all that, there were still more people to see even beyond the finish. Also, like Denise was saying, And then, there's getting the blanket and getting your medal and getting your like goodie bag of, hey, here's some water and some Gatorade and some Pirates booty. And I haven't purchased my pictures yet from the official race pictures, but I've gone through them kind of briefly. And it's really cool that I'm actually like, I'm smiling in all, or not all, but many of the pictures. Whereas most race pictures, I am trying to PR or I am trying to push it really hard. And all of a sudden, and I look at my race pictures from almost any other race. I'm like, God, I hate race photos. But I look at my race pictures, the official ones from this, and I'm like, wow, I look happy because I was just so genuinely happy. And that was just, it's really cool. It was really cool crossing that finish.
Congratulations again to you guys for catching that unicorn. That is such a great feeling.
Now you just got to do Chicago, New York, Japan, Berlin, and London, and you'll have the majors.
No problem, you guys. Yeah.
That was really cool too, actually. By the way, one of the things that I thought was neat was when we're running along on the course, and you would see people with like these special bibs on their back that were saying like, hey, today's my day. And it was people who Boston was their last star of the 6 stars. And I tried really hard to, every time I found, one of those people, I'd be, congratulations. Like, this is so exciting for you. You're getting your 6 major marathons. Like, that was really like, oh, like, you are impressive. And what a goal to make that list. So that was a really cool thing, I thought.
Well, congratulations to both of you. Amazing. I'm so happy we knew people in it. I am really bummed I wasn't there, but at 7 a.m, I was at my kid's dentist appointment.
Ooh.
Yeah, I couldn't get out of that one. I wish I was there.
Man.
But, I hope, that you buy those pictures, both of you, and you cherish these memories. That was so cool. Like, some people have done this 20 plus years in a row. I don't know if you plan on doing it next year or trying. I think, Denise, you're going to try to BQ one day. Yeah, you're really close too. But this one seems special. I'm really happy the two of you took your time through that race and enjoyed it. Sounds amazing.
I'll tell you though, even if this is your only Boston, I mean, if that was my only Boston, the memories will last forever. It pops up every year, and I get so nostalgic over it and so proud of myself. So you guys should feel the same way. You guys accomplished something great.
And Sarah, what did I promise you?
Good weather!
It was perfect weather. Did you get a sunburn?
Oh my God, it's so bad.
Only on my right side.
Oh, really?
Oh, no. My backs of both of my shoulders are a problem.
Worth it.
Yeah.
That can be your code brown for the Boston Marathon.
I also didn't pee on my pants. So
yes, that's a win. All right, here's your opportunity to shout out whoever you want. I know you got Poland Spring, and I know you got MGH, but family, friends, anyone. Here's your chance. Let's hear it.
Oh my God, I would just love to thank Poland Spring again for that opportunity. It was absolutely once in a lifetime opportunity. Runaways Run Club for always being out there cheering us on and making some of these dreams come true, or making me realize that I even had these dreams. And then my family for always being there, being super loud, and just getting me nice and warm right after the finish, which was super grateful because it got really cold really fast. And just always being the love and support that I need to get through all of this. So who I'd like to thank.
Of course, there's my family. I was really excited that my Aunt Barbara and my cousin Catherine and her 2 girls, Mary Claire and Cece, were out there cheering me on in Natick. I had to ask somebody to make sure I didn't pass already through downtown Natick because I was worried I had missed them. And my mom was in Newton. I had some of my frequent flyers friends that were my, Reach the Beach team that were there cheering me on either beyond and after the finish or also in Newton. I had a slew of my friends from Millennium Running that were scattered throughout the course, and it was so, so, so great to see all of them. and have them there supporting me, as well as all along the way. All of these people have been super supportive with my fundraising, which has been awesome. I have to say, my friend Charles gave me some last couple of week impromptu sort of advice / pseudo coaching, which was really cool. But then, of course, Run for MGH. I'm so thankful that they let me onto the team and accepted my application and let me fundraise for them. Pairing me up with Ashley as my patient partner was really like such a special experience and really, really cool. And then, of course, having Mike at the finish line was just exactly where I needed him. And he has been so supportive of the ups and the downs of this whole process, the stress and the excitement and all of that. So just so many people to be thankful for. And of course, I'm thankful for you guys for sponsoring my event and having us on here and being so supportive of all of this. So thank you.
Well, and just to go off that, as I got to text someone, hey, thank you so much for helping Sarah. Really, you helped us. We helped you. I mean, I felt like it went both ways. Your episode really helped us, take off because you have that group. Both you have your running groups, and both you have been a big part of our early success, we'll call it, since we been doing this for the past 100 days or so. So thank you for letting us, tag along your journey. Be a part of this, get to hear these stories. It's been a blast for us.
Yeah. Let's give these ladies a round of applause. You press that button.
Nice job.
All right. So once again, Denise, Sarah, big, huge congratulations on your accomplishment. I am so very proud of you. We are both very proud of you. And we can't wait to see what's next for you.
Yeah. Thanks for all the support, guys. It's been great sharing the story. Thanks for having me again.
Yeah, thank you so much. This has really been such a fun experience, and having this be a part of it has really been something I cherish. So thank you very much.